it's all about Yahweh, Yahweh. I admit that I was wrong and now I'm coming to you with my hands up.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Temika Talks. My name is Temika and today I'm here with myself. So I've gotten a lot of feedback from people and my audience says that they want a podcast with just myself and just my thoughts. So here I am doing an episode on my own. So if you're watching the video portion of this on YouTube, ignore the tape on my glasses, okay? They broke, and I'm gonna get new ones next month. So don't worry about it, okay? Also, excuse my voice. There's like mucus stuck in my throat and my sinus, so it's just my voice is kind of right now. But it's not gonna stop me from making another episode, okay? Okay. So, in today's podcast, I want to talk about the topic of love. Makes sense because it is currently February. And I just wanted to talk about love because I love talking about love. And I had asked you guys on my Instagram if you guys had any questions about love versus lust. And a couple of you guys reached out to me and gave me some questions that you wanted me to answer and give my perspective on. So I have my iPad mini right here ready to read off the questions. It's super cute. It has a whole bunch of local kind stickers on it. Poor Kenny Kenny, Smooth Soupies, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, the questions on there. But just to gush a little bit about love, I love talking about love. If you guys know me personally, I love love. It is so cute. This past Valentine's Day, I was just so happy seeing everyone in their little couples, real or not. It was still super cute to see everyone's how everyone spent their Valentine's Day. Single, not single, coupled, married, whatever, birthdays. It was really fun to see all of that wind down on my social media. It was so cute. So cute. Um so one of the reasons why I love love is because that's how I found God. So a long story short about my testimony a little bit on why I decided to follow God was because of love. When I was little, I had a lot of struggle with sleep paralysis. I had sleep paralysis every single night when I was younger. I still do have it now, but it's definitely not as bad as back then. And I was saved from that oppression through Christ. And ever since that day I've been saved, I've never gone back. I've always thought I wasn't good enough for God, or the things that I do, that I will do, the mistakes I've made just made me a terrible person, and I always thought that God wouldn't love me because of it. So I kind of like shamed away from him and kind of was ashamed to like worship God because I thought it was too tainted for him. Until he taught me that it's okay and he's gonna love me either way, no matter what kind of person I am, no matter what I do, what mistakes I made, even if I turn away from him completely, he will still love me. And I just think that is so special and so strong, and it really helps me kind of learn how to love other people today. I heard something recently. I was kind of eavesdropping on a conversation a little bit, but this person said that it's hard to love someone else when you don't love yourself. And that's a phrase that I hear a lot. And I used to agree with it. I did. But how do you love yourself is the question. Like, if you can't love yourself, you can't love others. But how do you know how to love yourself? What's going to be that kickstart of learning to love yourself? Like, how do you do that? Like, it's not easy. It's not something you can just pick up and, go along your days. So it made me think about it even more. Who teaches you how to love? I feel like a lot of us don't really realize that a lot of different people experience love in different ways. And some experiences aren't seen as love, but it's still labeled as love, which can be super confusing, by the way. But my thing is, it's not really if you can't love yourself, then you can't love others. It's you need to realize who taught you how to love. What was your example of love? And how is that reflective in your life today? So that's really my take on love and what love is. God taught me love. My faith taught me love. So that's how I'm able to show love to other people today, and that's how I'm able to just be myself and be the happy person that I strive to be every day. So yeah, love is a lot of things, but the most important thing is love is eternal and it can never run out. There's really no such thing as not loving someone anymore. Like, it's always confused me when initially a person would say I love you and then afterwards it's I don't love you anymore. And it's like, you don't love me anymore? That means you didn't love me to begin with. Like, you can't just stop loving. Like, no. Then it wasn't love. Like. So, yeah, that's just a short little overview on my perspective of love and what it is and what it means. And we're going to get straight into the questions that you guys have asked me on my Instagram. If you're not following me on my Instagram, go ahead and follow my Instagram, ii.mokke. And we'll get straight into it. So the first question is, do you think it's possible for someone to fall in love with someone who is lusting? And yeah, 100%. 100%. You guys are two different people, two different beings with two different experiences in life. And, everyone goes through life in their own way. So it's 100% possible. You can be madly in love, but the other person can be lusting as well. Or vice versa. You're lusting and the other person is in love. So it's 100% possible. You're two different people, two different mindsets, two different, what's it called? Stages of life, stages of growth. There we go. It's a better way to put it. So it's 100% possible to be in different comprehensions at the same time. So, next question is, how do you discern which of the two your feelings come from? Okay, so I got a lot of questions about defining each term. Like, a lot of the questions are the same when it comes to love versus lust. Like, how can you tell the difference and what's the definition of each term? Again, this is just my, my mindset, like my thought process of everything and how I really develop what love is, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to say this is right, this is wrong, whatever I'm just saying like whatever I believe. But so this is what this whole episode is going to be about. Just, you get to see what goes on inside my mind a little bit. But how do you discern which of the two your feelings are coming from? I would say that gut feeling. So this question isn't really clear if it's discerning the feelings within yourself or discerning the feelings with another person. But if it's with yourself, definitely conviction. You have that conviction in your heart. If you know you're not supposed to be doing it, you're probably not supposed to be doing it. It's not, you're not supposed to be doing it. So, something that really helps me when I think about, like, I guess relationships is temptation. Does this thing tempt me? Like, love is not tempting. It's not. So, if it's not love, then it must maybe be lust. Maybe. That desire you feel, that want you feel for that temporary feeling that you know is going to fade away. Especially if it's something you've struggled with a lot, it's going to come from temptation and having that feeling of whatever negative feeling that is, just trying to cover it up with something else. Kind of like painting over old paint. Like, the old paint is still under there. When it chips away, you're going to see the old paint that was there. It's like covering a black wall with white paint. Once the white paint strips, the black is still going to show, So that feeling of conviction, that feeling of you're not supposed to be doing it, but you're still doing it anyways, just for that temporary relief that you feel, but you just know, like, it's not going to last forever. That feeling is not going to last forever. So that definitely comes from lust. Like, that link, I think so. It comes from lust. Because, again, love is not tempting. It's not. But when it comes to another person, seeing if another person is lustful or not, that can be really hard. And that's why it's really important to just get to know people. Dating apps are really confusing because it's kind of like a game. You're swiping left, swiping right. It's literally a gambling game. I don't understand. And then when people say like, oh, we've gotten married through Tinder, through Hinge, through whatever, it's like, wow, what are the chances? Like what percentage of that really comes out of dating apps? Like marriage, having a child, children? Wow, that's like, okay. But yeah, back to the main topic. Getting to know people is really, that's really important, because you need to see a person throughout all of their emotions, whether it be happy, sad, afraid, angry, anxious, confused, lost. You really need to, I don't want to say study the person, but study the person. And that can take years, honestly. Especially if they're not the kind of person who wants to open up to people and it's hard for them to open up to people. It's going to take a hot minute. It's going to take a hot minute. And with that comes commitment too. Like, if you really love this person, you would be committed to them. Not just like, okay, I'm gonna give you 2 months and then dip. Like, no, no, like, no, that you're just trying to feel that temporary feeling, of that want, that need, that desire. So it really depends, but when it comes to yourself, knowing if you have lust or love, just listen to your heart, listen to that gut feeling you get. If you know it's wrong, it's probably wrong. But when it comes to another person, study them. See their habits, how they go along things, how they grew up, their experiences, where they learned love from, like I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast. You really have to be observant, and you really have to be patient. So, yeah. Next question. How do you define each term? How do you actively differentiate the feelings? So, similar to the last question, love is, it never gives up. Love always pursues. Love can be confusing to differentiate from lust, because you think it's love, and then when it doesn't work out, it's like, oh, it was lust all along. And it's really a defeating feeling, really, especially when you're young. Like, you don't know these things, like, it's your first time being 15, it's your first time being 22, it's your first time being 26, I don't know, like, and it all comes with experience. Yeah, experiencing life, how things go, because it's your first time being that age, so you're not gonna know. And it's also really important to talk to other people about these things too. There's books on it, there's other podcasts on this topic, and learning from other people is really beneficial. I have a person in my life where, like, they've grown so much. Like, the person they were when they were younger versus the person that they are now is, you would never guess. Like, wow, you were in that life and now you're not. Like, how did you get out of that? Like, yeah, it just really comes with time. But that's what love is. Patient, it's not confusing, it's calming, it's reassuring, it just makes you so happy. Like, it makes me happy. Um, and then lust, at first, to some people, it might be fun. Like, hopping around is fun for them, or not being committed to one partner or one friend, that might be fun to them. Love versus lust doesn't only apply to romantic relationships, but also platonic. Like, if you're hopping around and you're comfortable with that, okay, okay, like, okay, I'm not gonna judge you. Like, that's what am I? Who am I to say to judge you? Like, what? But it does get tiring. I mean, I can only imagine it gets tiring. Like, having that temporary feeling, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Having that feeling being relieved, just to feel that feeling again an hour later, I feel like that would get super tiring. Especially when it comes to different people, I feel like that can get really tiring. And it's just sad too. Like, like, you feel this negative feeling and you're using this temporary thing to resolve it, but there's so much more, that's so much more long term to relieve that feeling if you just wait. you know, if you're just patient and understanding and you're able to comprehend a lot of things. It's a process, and a lot of people don't understand that. It's a process, and social media just makes it look like lickety split. I got a girlfriend for 7 years. Like, oh, I got a boyfriend for 7 years. I got a best friend for 12 years. Like, it's not that easy. You know, it takes time, a lot of time, and it takes commitment. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's why a lot of people, I feel, fall into lust just because they see other people doing it and quote unquote it works for them, but they don't know what happens behind the camera. You know, like you just never know. But love is just, it just waits. You know, it waits, it's committed, it pursues, and it never gives up, just like God never gave up on me. So, second part of that question was, how do you actively differentiate the feelings? Again, for me, it comes with that feeling of conviction. Like if you know it's gonna tempt you, if you know it's gonna have you fall into bad habits, that's not love and it's not worth it. It's really not. So that feeling of conviction, it really just listen to your gut. Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut, because your mind and your heart, two different things. One is deceitful. Don't listen to it. Follow your heart. No. You know dang well that your heart is going through it and crashing out. Don't follow your heart. Follow your brain. You know, be logical. Next question is, would crushes stem from love or lust? I know it depends, but I'd like to see you expand on it. And I love this question. And thank you for being interested in knowing what goes on in Temika's mind. But this is kind of a hard question to answer just because I've never had a crush before. I mean, I've had a friend crush before, so I'm going to try like base it off of that. But would crushes stem from love or lust? It just, like you said, it just depends. Like, it just really depends because you have like people who have crushes on people online, like influencers or celebrities. But why do you have a crush on them? You don't even know them personally. You just have a crush on them because they look attractive to you. So is that lust? I think so. I think so. Because you're going based off of looks. That's it. And what you see online. And social media is so deceitful. It's so deceitful. So deceitful. So what are you going off of having a crush like that? And some people are like in it, you know, like they are full on, this man will be my husband. This woman will be my wifey. This person will be my bae-fee. And it's like, they don't even know your name. You know, like they've never seen you before. So what are you talking about? You're just saying that because they look attractive to you. What? What? Don't, that's not a crush. You're just idolizing. That's not a crush. You're just idolizing the person. That's it. That's it. You don't have a crush. Like, celebrity crushes, no, that's not a crush. You're idolizing the person. They don't even know you exist. What? Sorry, I'm just really like passionate about that because it's just so confusing to me. Because some people are like full on like, that's my husband, have my babies, and it's like, what? Huh? Like, what? This person doesn't know you exist. You're just idolizing them. You literally have posters of them in your room. Stop playing. But yeah, I don't think those were crushes. Like back in my day, okay, we had Man Crush Monday and Woman Crush Wednesday. Those, oh my gosh, those were fun because you have one person who's having the same crush every week. Like they're on it. Everybody got to know that's their crush. Everybody got to know that. And they post them every single week, the same person. And you have the next person who's posting different people every week, and they on top of it too. Like every single week is a new person talking about Man Crush Monday, Woman Crush Wednesday, like. And then whenever people like would post their crushes from the same school, ooh, those are interesting too, guys. Oh my gosh, yeah, those are fun. Like back in my day, we had those. Okay, but yeah, idolizing y'all are just idolizing. That's not healthy. Go outside. Okay, I'm not judging. I'm sorry. I'm not judging. I'm sorry. That was just like people who have crushes on people who don't know they exist. But when it comes to people like having a crush in class and stuff, like, and like I talked about like me having friend crushes, like when I have a friend crush, it's like the okay, wait, does that make sense to you guys? A friend crush, like I don't want to sound stupid, but like a friend crush is like you want to be somebody's friend so bad, you know, like you see that one girl or that one guy in class and it's like, dang, I want to be your friend. You seem cool. I've had people have friend crushes on me, and now we're friends to this day. So friend crushes are basically like, oh yeah, I want to be that person's friend, but I don't know if they want to be my friend. Okay, so I'm gonna just stand from the side and just like cheer them on from the side, but I want to be their friend. So like you try to like go into like group projects and stuff with them, or like if you see them at an event, like, oh hey, my name is da 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 da, this that and the third, and boom, become friends. That's what a friend crush is. I feel like I gotta explain that just in case, but that's what a friend crush is. Okay. um but yeah, usually when I have friend crushes, it's like I want to be your friend because you like I like your personality, like it's just different, you know, like it's different, and I want to know more. Like I want to know more about you, you know, like I want to be your friend so bad. It's either that, either you like your personality is cool, or like you dress good, so I want to be your friend. Like if you dress good, like I want to be your friend so we can go shopping together. like like let's go shopping together. We can go where you go, and then vice versa. We can go where I go. But like that's usually where my friend crushes come from. Either you dress good and like you just seem like a cool person. Like your personality is like, ooh, okay, yes. But yeah. And I feel like that stems from love, yeah. And yeah, I just feel like that stems from love, I think. Like I care about you enough to come up and talk to you and be like, hey, what's up? What's good? Or to have you on my mind, like, yeah. And that can really depend for different people. Like I've been saying, everything just depends, okay? Everything just depends. But, and then when it comes to like males and females, that could be different too. Because you can either have a quote unquote crush if you just like how they look. But then again, that's not really a crush though. Actually, let's look up the definition of what a crush is. Just to be correct. I want to be right, okay? What is a crush? Okay, so the internet is telling me a crush is a strong feeling of romantic attraction towards someone, often characterized by infatuation and idealization, but it typically does not involve deep emotional attachment like true love. Crushes are often fleeting and can be based on surface traits rather than a genuine understanding of the person. Mm, that's not love. Infatuation and idolization. Ah, that doesn't seem, no. And then it says like often fleeting and can be based on the surface traits. And that just goes back to what I talked about before. Like, you gotta know the person, you know? So when it comes to the physical definition of a crush, that's lust, you know? Because that is true. Well, not for me when it comes to friend crushes. Like, I want to be your friend. But when it comes to romantic crushes, that can definitely be, that can be true. That can be true. It just comes and goes. Because I've heard that from other people as well. Like, oh yeah, I have a crush, but it's just a crush. It doesn't mean anything. And it's like, oh, okay. So, are we accepting the fact that crushes aren't, like, true love? Because I've heard a lot of people say that now that I'm thinking about it. Like, oh yeah, it's just a crush. It doesn't mean anything. Oh yeah, it's just a crush. It's not going to bloom into anything. I don't want it to become anything. It's like, huh. Is having a crush just meaning, like, oh, you just like a person? Like, they look and seem good on the outside, and that's more than enough for you? Is that what we're getting here? That's what I'm getting here. So maybe that leans more towards lust. There you go. That answered your question. I think it leans more towards lust, just because it's temporary and it doesn't really mean anything, and it just comes and goes. Maybe you think it's love. That's okay, but it leans more towards lust, in my opinion. So yeah, that desire and idealization. Oh, okay. All right, next question. Can you truly love more than one person at a time? Or does that fall into the realm of lust? Yes. You can definitely love more than one person. I love more than one people. What? Like, again, like I said it before, it goes, beyond romance. It's platonic too. I love my mom. I love my best friend. I love my mentors. I love my advisors. I love my true friends. And all the people who are genuine in my life. I love them all to the bottom of my heart. Like, they hold a very special place in my heart, okay? I love my dog. Shout out to Charlie and Rocky. I love my dogs. They're so, so cute. I love them too. But I think you might be talking about romance. Can you love more than one person at a time? And I do think so. I do think so. If you love more than one person, like say you love your ex, I guess is a good example. That don't mean you want to get back with your ex. No, that just means you wish the best for them. You know, if you truly love that person, then you don't want it to die in hell. You know, like no, you still care about that person and you still wish the best for them. Again, I don't mean I want to be their boyfriend slash girlfriend again. No, it just means you're caring about them, and that's just how you are as a person. There's nothing wrong with that. So, when you say if you can truly love more than one person at a time, 100%, that can definitely be a thing. Like, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Because if you truly love someone, you don't want to wish the worst for them. You know, you still care about them. So, and I know like that word love can be hard for a lot of people. I've met a lot of people where it's hard for them to physically say I love you. It's literally difficult for them. And I just come from a lot of trauma and past experiences, and that makes sense. Like everything is a process, you know. Life is a process. So, like a person like me, I can never hate someone. I can never hate someone. And if y'all know me in real life, you know like I can't hate people. No matter what they've done to me, I just can't hate people. I can't. It's just not in my blood. I will always wish them the best and I will always love them and remember that love that I have for them from the bottom of my heart. And not to say that I had, like, I don't love them anymore, but the attention that I gave, like, I'll never forget the memories that we had. Like, I've had friendship breakups, really, really difficult, by the way. Oh my gosh, it's just like a romantic one. Oh, but that's a different story for another day. And do I wish that person to burn? No! No, I don't. I really, really don't. I promise I don't. All the people I've fallen out with, it's okay. We just fell out and that's okay. I don't hate them. I don't have a reason to hate them. Again, it's everyone's first time living life. And things happen. Life happens and a lot of the times it's out of our control, so what can I do? Hating's not gonna do anything, so might as well love. Makes me feel better at least, you know? Your second question was or does that fall into the realm of lust? That can fall into the realm of lust if desire comes from it or forms from it. I know a lot of people like doing revenge stuff or doing things to get back at that person, and that can definitely fall into lust or getting into a brand new relationship after getting out of like an 11-year relationship. Like that can, again, everyone is different. Everyone is different. Everyone is different, but it can fall into that realm of lust, and that's what's so like frustrating about love. Like, especially when you're young. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to tell the difference, and it's so hard to tell whether or not you're falling into love or lust or lust or love. You know, and that's why prayer is important, guys, and that's why self-reflection is important. Okay, that is why self-reflection is important. If you just don't know, just write it down. Write down your thoughts. See what's quote unquote right and what's quote unquote wrong for you and your nature. And if it's not the kind of person that you usually are, then maybe it's leaning more towards lust. If it is the person that you are, maybe it's leaning more towards love or lust. Hey, it's you, not me. Okay, it's your mind, not mine. Okay, but yeah, self-reflection is super important, and I highly, 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 highly encourage it. Just writing your feelings down, journaling. You can do a video journal if you don't want to write. Just self-reflection is so important, guys. It's so important. It's so important. And self-awareness too, super important. If you haven't seen that podcast, go ahead and look at that podcast. That was last episode. Yep. So yeah, we're gonna turn to the next question. Can lust turn into love? Ooh, good question. Can lust turn into love? I wouldn't say that lust can turn into love, but you can learn love from lust. And what I mean by that, let me explain. Let me hold it. Let me explain. Okay. What I mean by that is a lot of the time when you go through struggle or you go through grief or you go through sadness, any kind of negativity, negative kind of emotion that you go through, you learn something from it. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that lust will turn into love, but you can learn love from lust. Just where you always get a lesson out of the things that go wrong in your life. Especially, like, for me, I can definitely advocate for that. Like, I've definitely had downs in my life. I've definitely had dark times in my life. Again, I was explaining earlier about my sleep paralysis. That was not easy, but because of that, I've grown so many new flowers in my garden. Flowers that I never knew that I can grow based on that bad experience. Yes, it sucks that I went through it, but it's my responsibility to get through it. And instead of looking around and being sad all the time and being hateful and spiteful, I want to learn from it and become a better person from it. And if that situation were to ever come again, now I know, like I know the red flags, I know what to look out for. So, in the context of lust, it could definitely help you differentiate what's not love. And by knowing what's not love, can help you learn what is love, and then it's history from there. So, yeah. Hope that answers your question. And the same person asked again, how can you tell the difference between the two? Let's reword my answer from earlier. How can you tell the difference between the two? Time. Only I can tell you right now how to tell the difference, but when you get into that situation, it's gonna be hard to tell the difference. What? Especially if you're just like infatuated by the person, it's gonna be hard to tell that difference. And maybe you won't remember to take the pieces of advice that I'm giving you and write it down and compare contrast and, you know, observe the person before you go full send. But I think time will tell and time will teach you. Honestly, time will teach you. Like, for some people, it might be that they don't want to believe that it's less because they think it's the perfect person in their life and it can never go wrong. There's a lot of things that will get in your way just to test that. And it's another thing with love. It tests. You get a lot of tests. A lot of tests, a lot of exams with love. And if it's if that relationship that you're in is foundationed on lust, it can cripple very quickly and you will fail the test miserably. So that's a more realistic, I don't want to say realistic, but that's another version of the answers I've been giving about how to differentiate the two. And yeah, it's hard. It can be hard to differentiate the two. And again, when it comes to being young, it especially in this time of our lives, it's hard. It's blinding, it's confusing, especially with social media. It can be so disheartening sometimes. I've definitely fallen into the traps where it's like, dang, maybe I'm missing out. And it's like, I don't think so. It's just not my time yet. I get a lot of invasive questions about my love life, and I don't really feel comfortable talking about it. But a lot of people ask me for advice when it comes to having a love life, and I find that so funny because I've never been in a relationship. But a lot of people do come to me for it. As a side note, I find it so funny, okay, right? So, whenever a person comes to me about love, kind of being hopeless in love and not believing in love and just being down in the dumps about it, we always have this very specific talk. And I won't say what the talk is about, but we have this very specific talk. And the person would just like pour their everything out to me, like be super vulnerable with me and pour out their everything to me. And like at least 2 hours. It's always like at least 2 hours and something o'clock at night. Like it's never goes wrong. And then A few months later, they are in a long-term happy relationship. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I just think I'm Cupid. I'm just Cupid at this point. But it just goes to show, like, my experiences really, like, prove that what I'm saying is true, Again, for me, but it just goes to show, like, what I'm saying is true. Yeah, everything just takes time, guys. And it's good to know, be knowledgeable before you do fall into that pit. And so you can prevent yourself from falling into that pit. Just be very knowledgeable, be very observant, be very open, be very comprehensive. Um, that's how you can tell the difference between the two. Just training yourself to do that. I can give you my advice. I can tell you what I'm telling you now, but you got to train yourself in that. This thing takes, like, the knowledge that I have now took years to get into me, okay? Like, this isn't just something I woke up with. Like, everything that I'm saying to you guys right now is just based on all of my experiences and based on all of what I've learned throughout my life, even though I'm only 21. But, a lot of people say I have an old soul and I'm very mature for my age, but I'm just being me. That's it. There's nothing special. But one of the last questions is, what advice would you give someone that considers lust as love? Ooh, you guys are so good at questions. Wow. Okay. What advice would you give someone that considers lust as love? Oh, okay. So this can be going a lot of different ways. Like, does this person know that they're misinterpreting love? Does this person purposefully want to be lustful? Does this person Is this person in a relationship with you? Is the person you? It can really depend. But advice that I would give someone that considers lust as love. Ooh, guys, you're really scratching my brain here. Even though it's temporary, it won't be fulfilling. Even though it may satisfy you now, it'll break you later. These habits that you're going through may seem like that's the only way, and the decisions that you make may seem like your only hope, but it's not. It's not. There is so much more out there, and there's a lot more healthier ways to do things. It's just kind of up to you to be willing to put yourself out there. It's up to you to make that decision and to realize that what you're doing is probably not the most beneficial. So, do you want to take that step in learning? Do you want to take that step in being okay with quote unquote missing out? It that final goal that you want in your life when it comes to love isn't going to be possible with a lot of things that you're lusting over. And to put it more simple, the things that just temporarily satisfy you. So it's up to you to make that decision. Up to you to take that initiative for the people who do love you, because there are so many people who love you and you may not even realize it. So that's my advice. I hope it makes sense. I'm not really good at giving advice, but I hope it makes sense. And feeling that temporary relief is a lot more hurtful than you realize. In the moment, it might seem it's fine, but it builds up over time, and you start to bottle things up, hide things, and just become a person you wish you never became. So, my advice to you is to take initiative to better yourself, for not only yourself, but for the people who love you, for the people who check up on you, for the people who talk to you, for the random strangers that tell you to have a good day. Do it for them too. Because trust me, in the long run, it's miraculous. Yeah. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. I really hope it makes sense. But I feel like a lot of people just get into certain habits because they feel like they have no one to love them. And I feel like they get into certain habits because they don't realize how much people love them until it's too late. I feel like a lot of us forget to cherish the things that we have in our lives right now. And we just forget to be grateful. We forget to tell the people we do have in our lives that we do care about them. I always try my best to just, shout people out. I love you. Have a good day. I just want to let you know that I really care about you and thank you for being in my life. I just wanted to say that I'm glad that we crossed paths and it wasn't a coincidence. We were meant to meet each other. So, yeah. Especially with me going many places in my future, I always try and tell people how much I care about them. Because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that I care about them. They just think it's, oh my gosh, it's Temika. We can't touch her. No. that shouldn't be your mindset. I love you guys. I love everyone. I love love. And a lot of people sometimes get worried for me because it's like, oh my gosh, Temika doesn't have a man's. Oh my gosh, Tamika's gonna be alone her whole life. Like I've literally had people like worried for me, and it's like, no, it's okay, guys. Like you don't need to be worried about me whatsoever. But I do get that sometimes, and people just ask me like, how am I handling it, just being single, and just like having a lonely Valentine's Day, and it's just like, there's more to life than just that, Like, the time will come when the time comes, and I'm just not really pursuing anything. My mom asks me a lot too, but you get that a lot when you're young, huh? Time. It all deals with time and stuff, so just remember that you're loved, you're appreciated, you're wanted, because there's a reason that you wake up in the morning still, there's a reason why you're still here. So, yeah. It may not feel like it, trust me, I know that feeling. But trust me, I also know that it's not true. That yeah, it's not true that you're not loved. You are. Because you're waking up today, you're waking up tomorrow, you're waking up to see another day. So, yeah. I think that's it for this podcast, this episode. I just wanted to give my thoughts on that topic. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I mentioned earlier about my testimony. If you guys want an episode on that, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. I've given talks about this, speeches about this, so it's not uncomfortable for me. Just know it might be a very raw story. My next podcast will have a guest, so I'm sorry if you were looking forward to having someone on this podcast. Next episode, I will have someone, no worries. Just a little bit of an update. I've been trying to do my podcast once a month, like scheduling it for once a month, but it's not really working because it's like when it comes to my podcast, I like to find very specific, yep, I can't say that word, very certain people, okay, to be on my podcast. And being on my podcast means you have to be very open, very vulnerable, very, open and vulnerable, like I said. So it's just hard to find those kinds of people because I don't have a lot of people like that in my life. So sorry if you look forward to having episodes every month. It's just a little bit hard for me. So I've been doing it every other month, but I just want this to be really authentic for you guys and my listeners. So yeah, this episode is kind of short, but if you guys have any questions, please let me know. You can either leave a comment or DM me on Instagram, ii.mokke once again. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for your love and support on this whole thing. I really do have fun doing this. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you very, 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 very much. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
'Cause without you, I start doubting myself. And I really